Well, hello and welcome to our special preview of the big Hong Kong International meeting on Sunday. Lots of interest for Australians there, of course. The Emirates Melbourne Cup winner Americain going around. Ortensia flying the flag for us in the sprint, and lots of Australian jockeys engaged as well. Michael Sharkie from lastwordracing.com.au jumps in to help me preview. This meeting's getting bigger and bigger each year as far as Australian interest goes.
It certainly is, Sean. It's the turf championships of the world, I guess we could say, and being so close to Hong Kong here in Australia, it's a little surprise that our best jockeys and our best horses get the chance to go over and show themselves to be right up there with the best in the world.
And of course this meeting being run in conjunction with the twilight fixture at Moonee Valley, so lots of good punting on Sunday for you. Michael's going to take us through his tips in the 4 Group 1 races. Why don't we kick off with the sprint race? Always a popular one for us, Ortensia engaged. Final leg of the Global Sprint Challenge, and a great field assigned. What about the local champ, Sacred Kingdom? Should have his 3rd win in this race?
Certainly is, Sean. I've whacked him in for 2nd there. I think, he's getting older now, and there's a few of these horses that are coming out with a little bit better form. I've tipped Rocket Man on top, the Singaporean sprinter. Yeah. I think he's going to be so much better for his really good dead heat effort there in the sprint trial a couple of weeks back. That was the first time he's been on a right-handed track, and Hong Kong is a tricky track to go around if it's your first time right-handed. He'll improve heaps on that run. I think he's the right horse in the right place at the right time, and I think we can back him to win. Sacred Kingdom will put the old champion in there for 2nd. He was 5th, and he wasn't far off Rocket Man there in the sprint trial. Bit of a sense of timing about this horse, and I think, well, you can't leave him out. We all know how good he is. You have to include him up highly in the ratings. We're going to put Little Bridge in for 3rd. Another local, lightly raced and improving. Hit the line really well there in the sprint trial, and that's obviously the key form reference coming into this race. It was his first test at this sort of level. He showed that he was up to it, so you wouldn't write him off at a second crack at a race like this. And of course the Australian Ortensia, we have to put her in there. She was really good behind Black Caviar in the Patinack Classic. Had a couple of little hiccups over there. She took fright at a cat and went through a running rail, but she's all good after that. And we know how good she is with that big paralysing turn of foot. She'll be there in the finish.
I guess the important part with her is, yes, she does race well coming off the sprint. She also handles this way of going as well, which is important.
Exactly right. Yeah, she's won a Group 1 in Sydney. Well, was taken off her in the end, but she won the race on the day. So we know she can go around that way of going, and that's as you say, that's all important.
That's a big plus. All right, we're going to step our way up in distance through these Group 1s. So let's go to the mile next off here. And Good Barber, can he win a 4th edition of this race? Amazing to win 3, but to think he's going for 4.
Well, it was a fairy tale winning 3 race. I don't know what it's going to be if it's a 4th. I think Hans Christian Andersen might have, if he was still alive with us today, he'd have another book there to write. But look, I think he's just a little bit down in his best form, the old champ. We'll leave him alone. We'll go with Paco Boy, who's a very well-travelled British galloper. I really like this horse. He's a top miler with a terrific turn of foot. I think we just forget all about him in the Breeders' Cup when he wound up late and he hit the line well, but that short straight there in America just didn't suit him. I think the longer run in there for the Shartin course will be right up his alley, and he'll be the one to beat. Whack in Able 1. He's an 8-year-old. He's an 8-year-old, Sean. Jeez, but he's a tough old bugger, and he is racing in terrific form. He's won 4 races this year. And his last was obviously the mile trial when leading all the way. He's got a really good turn of foot off a strong gallop. And look, there's not a lot of pressure up front here, so he could dictate pace and be tough to run down. The 2 Japanese horses, Shin Forward and Safresa, both come through the Japanese Champions Mile, or the Mile Championship. Both ran really well in that race. Safresa's going to get back in the field, but she's got a really strong turn of foot. She's going to need the pace on to suit, but look, I wouldn't leave either of those horses out.
Yeah, of course, Able 1 was nominated for a couple of our spring features here, particularly the Cox Plate this year. Didn't make the trip across, but he is going great despite his age, as you touched upon. All right, let's go across to the Cup now. Vision d'Etat won it last year, the French horse. Can it back up, or are you tipping something else?
Look, I think he'll definitely be in the finish. I've actually tipped the dual Irish and English Oaks winner, Snow Fairy, on top. She won the QE2 championship there in Japan last start, won it easily by 4 lengths. She's shown that she can travel and still win and hold her really good form. She's been a top filly in Europe this year. Look, I think she's a good bet here. If we can get each way price, we might not be able to, but maybe a little bit to win more the place for her, because I don't think she'll be out of the placings. Vision d'Etat, put it in for 2nd. Look, his last run, it was okay in the Champions Stakes there to twice over when he was 2nd. I would have liked to have seen him hit the line a little bit better than he did. but he won this race so well last year, and really, that's a great guide for this. French filly, Stasalita, I like her. She sits up handy to the speed, got a good kick at the end of her races. I think she'll be one at odds that we can include. And also Collection, the local champ. He was second division d'état last year, just a little bit down in his best form, but he'll be primed for this race. He'll be primed to peak today, and he's too good to leave out.
Alrighty, and the one that we're really looking forward to as well is the reappearance of our Emirates Melbourne Cup winner, Americain. He goes around in the Vase. Great field this, Jaguar Male, who we didn't get to see for the Melbourne Cup. Of course, the highly rated Japanese horse will create great interest too with Craig Williams aboard. What are you tipping here?
Look, I'm a little bit worried about Americain just on the basis if the track comes up quite firm. I think he'd be better with a little bit of give in the track. He's definitely a winning chance. I think he and Jaguar Male stand out on class. But I'm going to tip Redwood. He's a Group 1 winner in Canada. He was third in the Canadian International last start, which is also a Group 1. I'm just giving him the edge because I think he'll sit closer to the speed than the other two, and if he can establish a break there early in the straight and hold on, he can sustain a good sprint, this horse. I think he might be tough to run down, and we might get a decent price about him. Jaguar Male in for second. He was unlucky in the Japan Cup, but gee, was it a run. He really thundered home for fourth, caught the eye late. It was a terrific effort. Americain, the Melbourne Cup winner, we all saw how good he was at Flemington on the first Tuesday in November. Just the track's a little bit of a query, and the pace perhaps. If they just bowl along in front, he might need to run a little bit quicker. And we'll throw in King Dancer, an improving local who'll be up handy to the speed as well. Look, if they do walk or the leaders get it a bit slowly run in front, he might be sticking on there into third. He might be one to put in your trifectas.
Terrific, mate. Well, really appreciate your efforts there for us to help us along the way. It's going to be a big weekend's punting and hopefully lots of winners at Hong Kong.
Certainly will be, Sean. I'll be glued to the telly for sure.
Terrific. Well, that's been our preview, our special preview of the big Hong Kong International meeting. As I said, you can follow all of Michael's tips, of course, on lastwordracing.com.